What are you drinking?
It's non-alcoholic Corona.
Hey
I don't know
yo!
if they're a sponsor of the podcast, but
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I'm open to it.
they're pretty good.
Yeah,
They're
are they
pretty good.
really?
Yeah.
You ever try the what's that beer? Heineken?
Heineken Zero?
Non-alcoholic Heineken?
Yeah,
or-
non-alcoholic one.
Yeah, it's good. That'd be another one of the best ones for sure.
I've seen people drinking those ones too. I'm still
Mhm.
like, my mindset, like, so I haven't drank in 12 years plus.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it scares me so bad. Just even a non-alcoholic beer scares me. Like if it's,
Is that right?
yeah, even if it was like 0.01% of alcohol,
Yeah.
it's just a mindset thing where I'm like, nope, like that's still alcohol. Do you know what I mean?
And it's
But
kind-
if I
it's kind of like
didn't know
cigarettes.
about it, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about it.
But
you
it's
know?
kind of like cigarettes
s-
too then.
They have some like this says 0.0. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that,
Yeah.
I could get down with.
But would it be like
yeah.
you get the taste of beer again? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
slippery
I'd be
slope.
too. Yeah, it's very tempting. Like,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
would I put myself in that position?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have a friend who hasn't drank in probably about 5 years, but he just like crushes the prohibitions or whatever. So, like, you know,
yeah.
to each his own. Yeah. Hey, my name is Sam. You probably know me best from the Sheepdogs, but I just released a solo album called Nutana. Here's another episode of the Sit Down Podcast.
You ever wait in anticipation for your song to play on the radio, knowing that it's been requested so many times, and you still can't get it on there? Check this out. Go to Funky Moose Radio, to the app, and scroll all the way down, and hit the S button for the search engine. Type in the song that you want to listen to. Hey, Kemper! Kemper, come here, buddy. Come here. What's the name of that song that reminds you of My Singing Monsters that you like?
Semi-climactic.
And boom, your song is played. So yeah, go to Funky Moose Radio and request a song. Stay tuned and enjoy.
Okay, so what were we talking about?
I was just welcoming our dear friend back to the show for his
Yes.
second appearance on. You guys got connected somehow, some way. If I'm
Yes.
not mistaken, I want to say it's kind of from our boy Adam Hoffert
Adam Hofford.
out
yep.
there. Shout out to Adam. Dude,
Okay.
he purchased one of your vinyls off of you. And he was like telling me how
Yeah.
he told me correct this story if there's like or keep it true, right? He purchases a record off of you and then you hit him up. He's like, and you said something on the lines of, hey, I recognize that you're in the same city as I am. Like, how do you feel if I deliver this? My God, he was even him just telling me this story was like so like
It was-
amped up and like excited
It was
about
like-
it, man. It was the freaking
'Cause you-
coolest thing.
Because you texted him, and he was like,
Mm-hmm.
why is Sam texting me? Why would he do this? It's like, well, he wants to get in touch with you so he can deliver the record, I think.
Oh, it was hilarious.
He was all excited.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Adam out there. But yeah,
Yeah.
very so that's
Well,
kind of
you know,
how
it's for the records. Like I sell them online for 30, but the shipping to basically anywhere in Canada, including in province, is like $15.
Yep.
I charge 15, but it's actually usually more if I'm shipping anywhere outside of Saskatchewan. It's usually more like up to $20.
Yep.
So I'm thinking like, hey, I'll save this guy the shipping and
hell yeah,
refund him the money, and
Yeah.
there we go.
freaking right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty stoked.
I tried to give it back. I can't actually remember if he accepted it or not, but I definitely tried to give it back. I think he did. I felt
Yeah.
weird about keeping it. So
But yeah, he told me about it. He's like, I'm just waiting for the picture, but I'm gonna post on Facebook because I took a selfie with Sam and he was so excited, and I'm like, oh, Sam, yeah, we should get him back on the show.
Yeah.
So that's where
So
we.
that's how
Nice.
this connection
Yeah.
came on. And I listened to the album today in
Yep.
its full. And my friend, I applaud you.
Yes.
It was a great
Thank
listen.
you.
Yeah, I like it.
We had it. It was one of those albums I had playing, and my son wasn't yelling at me to shut it off. So that's I get,
Well, that's a
you
good
know,
thing.
yeah, right. That's what I was. I was like, oh my god, this is something that my son and I can both listen to together, which
Yeah.
was very awesome for me because that doesn't happen very frequently. So I have you to thank
Okay, good.
for that. Like honestly,
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks to your boy, too. Yeah, my daughter was singing one of the songs today.
hell
Right
yeah,
after
dude.
breakfast. So I thought maybe that was a good sign.
Is that weird?
You know. Yeah, for sure. It was one of the songs on the record that's a cover, but even still,
Yeah.
I'm glad that she remembered it and liked it enough to be singing it for sure.
Great
Cool.
on.
How old is she? Is she also into music?
I have two girls. Yeah, for sure. I have two girls. One is 4 and one's 2.
Oh.
So they're pretty into like singing and dancing and stuff. And no drum lessons yet, although they do have a kit in the basement. So
Excellent. Right on. Actually, I do want to take this time to. I have an apology to make to you. It's nothing too crazy or
yeah.
anything.
I know
and-
exactly where this is going.
Right. I've talked about this on the show before in the past too,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to take this opportunity to say sorry. What happened was, so this is what happened was, it was you were. I don't know if you were recording, but you were in the studio and you were playing. And I happened to be at the same building that you were that day because I was doing something else in like an adjacent studio or whatever. And I walked in the wrong door. I ended up opening the door to you, and you were just like not rude or anything, but you were just like, "Hey man, like what are you doing?" And I was just like, "Oh shit," kind of like stepped
Where
back
was
and
that?
in Saskatoon. I don't even remember the like specific location, but
It's
it
a
was
jam.
the day.
It's a jam space.
It's definitely
not
a jam
recording
space.
studio. It's a jam space, and you go up a ladder or up stairs, and
A
it's
side stairwell
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of thing,
yeah,
and there's a
okay,
bunch
so
of
it's
like studios there.
Yeah, Garfield Sound Labs, right?
yeah.
Is that what
that's
it is?
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you were banging on the drums, and I presumed that you were somebody else, and I walked in. I don't even think I knocked. I just opened the door, and you were like kind of just taken aback, like what are you doing, guy? Like who are you? You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, my bad. Like I'm sorry, dude. Close the door, and that was it. But I felt terrible about it because I don't know if you were like actually recording or what was going on. But that was me,
No.
and I just want to apologize for that.
I do occasionally record demo drums there, but most of the time I'm just kind of banging away. So no, and even even if I have been recording, no big deal at all. So
Hell yeah,
no
dude.
worries.
Right on. That's
Awesome.
been just eating me alive, wanting to run into you just so I could say that. So this is great. I've
No
only been
worries at
talking
all.
about it for like 2 years.
That was funny because the ones we were going to visit were in another room, and he was standing on top of the stairs, and he was like, "Oh, just come in." So, and he ran inside,
And he went into the studio, but there's multiple ones,
and
right?
we didn't know which door,
Yeah.
so Joel just opened
Yeah.
the wrong
Who
door.
was that? Was that Talus or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I think that was the day. I could be wrong here. Was that not the day when I did that barbecue sauce,
No.
the hot sauce thing?
No, because I was there too.
Ah.
I don't remember what we were there for.
Yeah,
Cool.
Couldn't be
maybe
important.
pre-Moosefest or something last year. But
Yeah.
but yes, we are here. We would love to talk to you about the new album coming out and shows you've got. So let's. I kind of want to just dive right into it. And I guess my first question would be: is this like a product of something that started through the pandemic, or is it longer than that?
Sort of. Well, it actually goes back a little further. In 2018, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer, and we're sort of like in the middle of touring a new Sheepdogs album, and my wife was 4 or 5 months pregnant with our first child. So obviously, it was a very heavy time for me, and I had to make some pretty serious decisions pretty quick. Like we had to cancel a couple Sheepdog shows, which we had never ever done before, so I could have my surgery. And then I had some follow-up tests, and it turns out that it had spread into one of my lymph nodes. So I actually had to have
Holy
radiation therapy. Yeah. And we had these Sheepdogs tours lined up that I had to bow out of, and we had a replacement drummer for those tours, which was a big deal for me because I'm an original member. I've been in the band for almost 19 years now. So it was, a very hard decision to make, but I ended up making the right decision for my health. Um, so while the band was on the road and I was doing my treatment at home, um, I tried to play the drums a couple times, but I was basically too tired. I'd play for 15 minutes. I'd have to have like a 2 hour nap.
Oh wow.
So I switched to playing the piano instead. And I just started by playing some songs I knew or learning some new songs. And then it kind of morphed into me writing some melodies and chord changes and stuff. And I didn't really know what that was going to turn into. But it turns out a couple of months later, when I started writing some lyrics to these melodies and chord changes, it turns out a lot of the songs were about my, diagnosis and treatment and becoming a father and all that kind of stuff. So, that would have been about 2019. I sort of started to think like, hey, maybe I always wanted to record an album of my own material. Like in the Sheepdogs, it's most of our songs are written by almost all the songs are written by our lead singer Ewan. Um, so I always kind of had a dream to write and record my own album, but it never really took the forefront, I guess, until I had these songs that I wrote during the
Right.
treatment. And so it took me a while to kind of get the, courage, I guess, to book some recording time and get some people to come play on the record. And then when I did that, I basically had recorded for about a week, and then the pandemic shut everything down. So, I had to kind of piece it together over the course of a year, record the rest of the album. And then, there's other delays, right? Like I have Sheepdogs is still my main thing. So we released, an EP and an album and a live album. We were touring all that stuff.
Right.
And, you get your vinyl made, and the vinyl takes like, 6, 9, 12 months sometimes for some people. So that takes a while. So all of a sudden it's basically like 5 years later. And the album finally came out.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Hey. Holy
Huh?
shit.
Yeah.
But how is the cancer
Yeah.
right now?
Like how? Yes.
It's good. Yeah. So it's just about 5 years ago now that I first got diagnosed, and I'm, knock on wood, still cancer free. All my tests have been good, blood work, physicals, exams, and that kind of stuff.
Good.
That's all been good. So,
Hell
and
yeah.
luckily, testicular cancer has a super high survival rate compared to other cancers.
Mhm.
But, even though I knew that the whole time, I didn't necessarily know at first whether it had spread into different organs and whatnot. So it was still definitely a heavy time for me.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt, without a question. Is
Yeah.
it difficult to like talk about, or not really? Like if I asked you,
Not
like
really.
I'm curious on like how did you know?
If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
and that's
No,
true. Like there's no obligation
all
to
good.
any.
No, I actually I'm a pretty big believer in trying to raise awareness for it. Basically I was just in the shower and, washing up, and I felt a lump that I thought felt unusual, and I thought I'd get it checked out. And the part of the reason why I did want to get it checked out is because my grandpa had testicular cancer. So it was on my radar, right? So I am definitely down to talk very openly about it, because I'm thinking maybe if someone, in their 20s or 30s listening to this or whatever,
Right.
if they're in the shower and they feel something weird, they think, hey, that guy from the Sheepdogs had it. Maybe I should get this checked out. And, the important thing is, if you feel something unusual, get it checked out.
Mhm.
Like since
Agreed.
I had my treatment and surgery and stuff, I felt something else I thought was a little unusual. I went and got it checked out. Turned out to be nothing. And then that was it, So best case scenario, it just costs you like, an hour at the doctor, right?
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think there are a lot of guys that, wow, it's probably nothing. I just won't go to the doctor.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a definite, or another thing, like I said, I really struggled with, not doing my job and taking care of my health and, my job being to tour and stuff like
Yep.
that. I really struggled with not leaving that to take care of my health. I think I don't want to be, playing to too much of a stereotype, but I do think there is a kind of a thing with males specifically where like, oh no, I have to work. I have to whatever, make money. That's my, role in life. And
Yeah.
so I can't look after myself. I have to whatever, provide. So I think that's an opinion that, or a mindset that can be kind of harmful for
Yep.
sure.
Definitely. Agreed.
So yeah, get checked if you're feeling something weird.
Yeah. and then you'll
Yeah, totally.
and you'll have a banger of an album like this one is.
Well, I can't guarantee that, but for me, like it definitely writing and recording the album, it definitely helped me process some of the things I was going through, and I think it made me think about it in a new way. And you asked if it's difficult for me to talk about, and right now it definitely isn't. I mean, I'm cancer free and I'm living a pretty healthy life now, so that definitely helps. But I'm a pretty big believer that if you're going through something, that talking about it, getting it out in the open and getting it off that hamster wheel in your head, I'm a pretty big believer that is going to be helpful. So for me, it could be talking about it in an interview, or it could be talking about it through a song. I think
Right.
both those ways have helped me out quite a bit.
For sure. That actually, you talking about that reminded me of me listening to your album today, and one of the thoughts, I don't know specifically which track it was, but it definitely put me in this mindset of like me just reflecting on who I am and my life. Yeah, dude, it seriously put me. I wish I knew which track it was. I'll have to listen to it again. But for the whole track, like it was like kind of, I had my phone playing it off Spotify on the kitchen table, and I was on the couch with my son, and we were just kind of hanging out, whatever. So I wasn't listening specifically to the lyrics, but like every now and again, a line or something would come out. Yeah, it was a trip,
that's
dude. It was
interesting.
awesome. It was a good,
because
I liked it.
That's good because the lyrics I wrote are definitely fairly specific to my situation, or when I was writing them, I was processing the stuff that specifically happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite lyrics are a little bit more or less direct, I guess. For the artists that I like the most, like lyrically, I really like Steely Dan and David Bowie, and their lyrics are always kind of a little bit open to interpretation, I guess.
Right.
So for someone to listen to it, you know I didn't write this album just for people who have cancer to
Yeah.
get something out of, right?
Right.
If somebody is listening to it and has a completely different interpretation, that's great. I love that.
For sure. That's what did I say earlier too? Who sings that song, Jet Airliner? Steve Earle?
Steve Miller.
Steve
Yeah.
Miller.
Yep.
Steve Earle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of got those vibes off of the album, is what I was telling Mark before the show.
That's a very, very big compliment for me. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Love
Hell yeah,
Steve
dude.
Miller.
And I'm just being truthful.
I found, of course, a lot of Sheepdogs influence in there as well. That makes sense because that's your main project.
Yeah, totally. I do think Sheepdogs fans will probably dig it. It's definitely not a crazy departure from that. Very 70s influenced. A lot of the, favorite artists of the entire Sheepdogs band are my favorite artists, so it makes sense. I think it's a little bit more maybe, singer-songwritery, maybe, I guess. Hopefully without sounding too wussy, basically just maybe a couple more acoustic guitars or something. I don't know.
No, dude, it was freaking great, and like I want like sorry for stuttering a little bit. I'm just so excited to have you here, man. No, what I wanted to ask is when you two got connected and like lined this up, did you guys ever talk about like maybe Funky Moose helping to distribute the album or anything like that?
We didn't talk about anything other.
Nothing business-wise like that?
It was all just, you want to come on the show? Yep. Let's do it.
Holy moly.
So that's that. But that's maybe an email
Mark's
for later.
like, dude, why?
Nice. Well, I've been to your guys' website and looked up. I can't remember what I was looking up the other day. Maybe something about manufacturing, and I was on Funky Moose actually, checking out your guys' recommendations. So.
Hey,
cool.
I have a question. I've got a question for you on on as you being an artist who gets their music pressed on vinyl, and being from Saskatchewan as well.
Mm-hmm.
In your career, in your experience, all of the above, would you think there would be a need, I guess, quote unquote need, for a record pressing plant in Saskatchewan? Because this has been on my mind for months.
It would certainly be a good thing for me personally. I do know some artists that, Saskatchewan-based artists that wanted to get their records on vinyl or their album on vinyl, but just the cost was too prohibitive.
Right.
Like I'm
Mhm.
not saying a Saskatchewan plant would totally fix that, but I, I can't say for sure, but I do know that, obviously nowadays vinyl is the way to go. I didn't even get CDs made yet anyway, and I don't think I will.
Right.
It was just much more important for me to have something on vinyl as a representation of the music I like and
Yeah.
who I thought would be
Definitely.
most interested in it.
You don't happen to have a copy of it like handy there, do you? Can we
Yeah, I
show
do.
the
Yeah,
camera?
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. One sec.
And I'm curious if we can talk about like the process for anybody who's listening out there thinking about, getting their music on vinyl. Some
Yeah, like
questions.
where did you have yours pressed, for example?
I got it from Vinyl Record in BC.
From who,
Say
sorry?
that again.
Vinyl Record Guru.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Is that they're on your guys' website, or I did see them on there at one point. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Here's mine here. I don't know
Mhm.
if it's far enough away.
Ah,
It's
yes.
backwards or whatever, but
No, it's straight.
No,
know,
it's
I
all
wa-
good. Yeah.
I wanted to keep the costs down, so it's not a gatefold, but still got nice little insert here and whatnot.
Mhm. Mhm.
I also, because keeping the cost down, I went with just straight black vinyl, no crazy swirl
Yeah,
colors or anything
right.
like that.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I still think it looks nice.
Yep.
So I just went with getting 200 pressed, which so far it seems like a good move. We'll see. It definitely costs a bit more per record.
Yeah.
If you're getting it 500 or 1,000,
Yep.
but I also didn't want to have 800 vinyls sitting around in my basement for the rest of my life. So
Yeah, exactly. You
Exactly.
order
cross that bridge when I get there.
yeah, you order 1,000 because it's cheaper per record, but then like you said, you sit on 800 records and then
Right.
you're
Yeah.
losing money.
But if you were to do a second batch of 200, it would be cheaper though, because that
Yep.
first initial batch
That's
has
true.
the master factored in there too,
Yeah, because the
right?
stamper's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I also had my my test pressings got stolen off my porch.
No.
Some asshole. This is the only package that's ever been stolen off our porch in the 5 years we've lived in this house. Is my goddamn test pressings, which are absolutely useless to anybody else besides me. And I didn't really realize for like 3 or 4 weeks. I was like, oh man, these records should be here by now. And then
Yeah.
sure enough, I contacted the dude, and yeah. So it delayed the whole process, and then there's a bit more of a cost because I had to get them made again.
Oh man, that sucks. That
I
sucks.
hope that guy really enjoyed those test pressings, though.
Oh my god.
I don't.
I'm sure they're in a dumpster like a block away from my house.
Ended up
Yeah,
being
he realized
Frisbees.
that, oh, these are records. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah,
the
exactly.
CD.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like how convenient that one thing, hey?
Mhm.
So okay, so how all the music that is on the record, is that all you, or did you get help from other musicians?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good question. So for laying down the bed tracks, it was me playing drums, my friend Chris Mason, who was in the Deep Dark Woods, playing bass, and Jim Boskill, who was in the Sheepdogs and left about a year ago. He was playing all the guitars and like pedal steel and stuff like that. So those are the kind of the bed tracks. I'm singing all the lead vocals, and they're singing some backup vocals. That's like kind of the core part of the band. Then I also had a bunch of different guests, like Seamus from the Sheepdogs came and played some keys. My friend Clayton, who's in Casey and Clayton, played some guitar. My dad played some saxophone because he's a professional musician and has been my whole life.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, my wife Ashley came and sang lead vocals on one track. You probably, if you were here listening to it, you probably heard one song that was probably a little bit higher pitched,
Yeah.
and more feminine sounding. That was her.
Nice.
And then also Liet, who was in the Sheepdogs as well, and left about almost 10 years ago now. He came and played on some songs as well. And so it was kind of interesting. Like we, after he left the band, we weren't, super close for a while. And he heard about my cancer diagnosis, and reached out to me and sent me this like really, really great message that really meant a lot to me. And that kind of opened the lines of communication back up. And so I went to record my album. I really wanted to have him because I, always loved the parts he came up with in the studio. And so I thought he'd be really good choice
Hell
for a
yeah.
couple songs. And sure enough, he was. He came up with great parts right away, and it was awesome. And then shortly after that, he actually had testicular cancer himself as well.
Fuck,
So
I didn't even know that.
No.
I'll be
yeah,
honest.
so what are the
I
odds
didn't know you did. I didn't know he did. This is just
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Huh.
I gotta go get checked, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it can happen, especially if you're a member of the Sheepdogs. Apparently, you got a high probability.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So likewise, he, similar to me, he always wanted to record an album of his own stuff, and he just kind of was putting it off. Then having testicular cancer kind of gave him the kick in the ass he needed. So he recorded an album. Same thing, had a bunch of different guests on it, and he released his album 1 week before I did. So his was like March, 30th, I guess. Mine was April 7th. And we're going to have a co-album release party May 26th at the Capitol.
Hell
his bar
yes.
in
Oh,
Saskatoon.
yeah.
So you're going to get to see Nutana, his band is Son of Han. There's going to be a ton of awesome guests and stuff. It's going to be a really great show, like really a once, say once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
That maybe sounds like hyperbole, but it's probably never happening again. So
Hell
it
yeah,
is.
dude. Oh my god. That's on
Yeah.
the 26th or 29th? What did you
20,
just
26th of May at the Capitol in
May
Saskatoon. So it's
26th.
Friday.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that'll be a great show. I
Hell
encourage everyone to come
yes.
check it out.
Oh,
Hopefully
man.
this post before then, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
Okay.
This will go up
and
on
I'm gonna
Monday,
be there.
next Monday.
Man,
Oh, sick.
I
Right
feel
on.
like I don't know what it is about the Capitol, man, but it's one of my favorite venues in Saskatoon. I've just never had a bad time there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's really grown on me, like significantly.
Awesome.
Did
I
you?
freaking love
Did
it
I
there.
tell you? Which show was it? We were there last.
Like at an open stage night?
No, 2 weekends ago. Who was playing?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you were there.
2 weekends ago.
Come on,
2 weekends ago at the Capitol.
come on.
Kitchener?
Yes, Kitchener's release party, and Lead was
Oh,
there
cool.
too. And I walked by him and I clinked my glass, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Did you sleep here?" And I'm
Yeah,
like, "Well,
'cause
it's basically we live here now."
I'm trying to bring Mark there as much as possible.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
but yeah, we're
Yeah, it's a great venue. I've actually never played there before. I did a DJ set there once, like 10 years ago.
Oh,
Oh,
seriously?
But, I don't think that really counts. Yeah, back in my turntable days.
Yeah. No,
But,
that doesn't count.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
you gotta have
I'm
a
really
good,
looking forward to it.
you gotta have a guitar in your hand or something,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
some sticks or something.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I'm
Exactly.
gonna try to make it for sure.
Awesome.
Hell
Yeah, I'd love to see you guys there.
Freaking A, count me in, man. I'll be there 100%.
Awesome.
I'm trying to think of another, like, that was my big question was like, did you make this during COVID?
And that's it.
Yes, but it wasn't like a necessarily COVID inspired.
Yeah.
You know.
for
Yeah.
for
Deal.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
No, man, there was so many elements like that were, I guess maybe me being a 40-year-old male living in Saskatchewan, maybe I thought there was a lot of relatable things there. Like I've got an 8-year-old son, so I know how it is to be a father, and I was getting like
Mhm.
just similarity. It was relatable is my point. And it's not too frequent when I'm like, I listen to like heavy music too, like Metallica, Godsmack, that kind of genre stuff.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of aggression there, so it's not as relatable is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Or maybe not. I'm just saying
Sure.
it
Well-
was unexpectedly relatable, I think is what I'm
Okay.
trying to say. Like it caught me off guard on how much I liked it, if I'm being
Nice.
honest. I
Well,
think that's what I'm trying to
that's
say.
great.
Yeah.
I'd rather pleasantly surprise people than the other way around.
Yeah.
There is one song that is sort of about my treatment and diagnosis. It's like a medley of 5 songs that roughly covers the 5 stages of grief, or whatever. In my case,
Right, the
being
like
diagnosed with cancer
denial
and treatment.
and acceptance and like
Yeah,
those
so it kind
things,
of
right?
starts with like denial and anger. One of the songs is angry, I guess you would say. Um, Probably not like Godsmack, but angry for me, I guess. And then it kind of ends in a place of more like acceptance and moving forward and wondering like what my life is going to be like. So
Are those the last 5 songs on the track on the album?
it's the last 5 songs, and then there's one more song after that. So
Right.
it's yeah.
Okay, that explains why
I
they're
guess
all
one of
pretty
the
short.
yes, for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
okay.
well, actually, one of the tracks on streaming is 2 of the songs together. So
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
I do
Oh,
4 of the
hey.
last 5. Yeah.
Gotcha.
How was it recording with your wife? Is that the first time you
It
guys
was
ever did any like worked like that together?
oh yeah, for sure. Like she when we first met, we met in our early 20s, and she had like, taken piano lessons growing up and had sang, a bunch like in like musicals and stuff like that in school, but like many people kind of left that behind and went to university and got a regular job. Um, and I was kind of the opposite, where I was doing other stuff and then kind of got back into music when I was like 20. Um, and so when we first met, she was better at piano than I was at drums, certainly, and she was a better singer than I was. But I've been playing music for 20 years professionally, so I think that it's probably has tilted a little bit. So it was definitely took a little encouraging to get her back into it, um, and I knew that I wanted to be like very supportive in the studio. But she did a really great job. It was not very hard to get a good take out of her. Certainly, I didn't need to break her down or anything like that to build her back up.
Right.
And then the song is like that she sang on is Tame Impala song that we really both loved a lot when it came out. And the original is sung by a man, but it's the original is called "Because I'm a Man." And I thought it'd be cool to hear that same song from the female's perspective.
Shit, yeah.
So it's the original song is about kind of being an asshole or whatever, or just like a shitty dude. So I don't think that super applies to us, but we just really like the song, so we kind of rewrote
Right.
the lyrics together, and she sang it, and I'm playing on it and singing backing vocals, and we just thought it'd be really cool to have something that our kids could listen to later.
Heck yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
agreed, man. That sounds like that
This
would have
is
been a
mom and
lot of
dad
fun.
worked. Yeah, mom and dad worked on this track together. Isn't that kind of cool?
Cool. So
Heck
where
yeah.
did you record the album? Is it from your home studio or?
No, it's in Saskatoon, at a place called Rec Hall Studios. My
Okay.
friend Barrett, who's done a bunch of stuff like some Deep Dark Woods, Casey and Clayton, and the Garys, and a lot of Saskatoon bands, and some coming from out of town as well. So
Mhm.
Right on.
yeah,
Yeah, I recognize it from the Garys.
Yeah.
Yep.
mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you have anything else planned other than the release party? Are you touring more
I'm
of it?
I'm trying to plan some more shows in Southern Ontario, but it's proving difficult to work around Sheepdog schedules and then working, with my band. I have this really great band when I'm playing live that includes Chris and Luke, who are from we're in the Deep Dark Woods, Clayton from Casey and Clayton, and Ellen Fraze, who's a
Oh yeah.
singer-songwriter from Saskatoon, who I actually produced her last album that
Okay.
is out now. I encourage people to check that one out as well.
What's the name of that band? Like, what is that band name?
It would be Ellen Fraze.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and
We still
the
need to
album is
have her on
called
the
For
show.
Each- Yeah, you should for sure.
Yeah.
Have
She's
you have you reached
yeah.
out to them?
Well, we talked about her a few times, and it's like, oh yeah, I should reach out, and then
And we
haven't.
never do.
So
All right.
She'd be
will.
a fun interview. She's a
Yeah.
goofball, so that'll be fun. Yeah,
So-
and the album is called For Each Flower Growing. Anyway, so she's in the band, but so her and Clayton with Casey and Clayton, like they have very active careers of their own with music stuff, and Chris and Luke also have gigs with other people, so it's kind of hard to find something that works around my already
Yeah.
busy schedule too. So
No
Yeah.
doubt. No.
but I'm still hopeful it's going to work out.
Heck yeah.
Cool. So how is life in the Sheepdogs right now?
It's good. Yeah. We just got back from. We were in Australia. I was in Australia last week. This time, um, we played 5 shows there. We're sort of at the tail end of touring our last album, Out of Sight, which came out about a year ago. We basically toured every territory that we're going to go to. So we just have some supplementary stuff. A lot of like festivals over the summer, mostly in Canada, but some in the U.S. and Europe as well. So
I
we still have some stuff going on, but not quite as busy.
I'm like still just trying to fathom the touring life of the Sheepdogs. Like I still can't fucking wrap my head around it, dude. I could never do that. I went to Edmonton one night with the Radiant out of Saskatoon. I got to hop in with them one night. We went out on a Friday, saw them do a show. We came back Saturday. Dude, I was like wiped for like 4 days after. Like I'm
Yeah,
very curious of how do you do it, man? Like are you stay I'm like Airbnbs and hotels, or like how do the Sheepdogs do their touring process?
mostly hotels. Sometimes we'll be in a van, sometimes we'll be in a bus if we're making more money at the shows. And outside of Canada, we do better in Canada, right? So we can afford a couple more luxuries, I guess you'd call them, as opposed to touring in the States or Europe or Australia as well.
Right.
So it really varies a lot, and I just try to keep a fairly even keel. Back in the say 2011, 2012, 2013 range, I just mostly partied my ass off and just kind of really didn't care about the consequences very much. And I was a lot younger, so I could get away with that. Now I'm pretty try to stay hydrated and get a good sleep, I guess. I don't
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Eat a salad and try. I definitely feel like it makes a difference for me personally.
Yeah.
Drums are also a pretty physical thing, so I try my best to stay in relatively good shape.
Yeah.
How
The
many
rock star life.
Oh my god, I
Eating
couldn't
Yeah,
veggies.
just
I know. Well,
as
now I'm
much as
drinking
I
my
would. Yeah,
non-alcoholic Corona or whatever.
hell
Yeah.
yeah, dude. As much as I would love to just be that rock star, like it would kill me.
Oh
I'd
no,
be
I
so
wouldn't.
dead.
I
Is
like my own bed too. It's like, yeah, no, I couldn't do
does
it.
what's the most nights in a row you guys have had to perform like consistently?
I'm not sure if this is the right answer, but I know that in 2016 we did 13 shows in a row, um, on a Canadian tour, and we
Holy
might have
shit.
done more at some point, but I don't remember for sure. Now we try and limit it to like 3 or 4 tops,
Mhm.
as we're getting a little older. So,
Even
but we
that?
definitely did do. Yeah, I mean, even the
Like
13 in a row was definitely tough, but.
holy shit. That must have been a party.
It
Is
gets
that so
it
okay
can
if
weigh
you're
you down
doing
for sure.
if you're doing 13 in a row? Like, how are those first 2 nights of shows compared to like show 7 and 8, maybe? You know?
It can vary a lot. I'm just remembering too. We did a tour in 2011 that I don't know exactly how many were in a row, but it was something like 26. Well, maybe 25 shows in 27 days. Like we had 2 days
Oh
off
my god.
Mm.
the whole month, I guess. So that might have been our most intense one, something along those lines. It's interesting. Sometimes the first show of a run is just feels really fresh, and that's a good thing as well. And sometimes you're feeling a little tired, and it's a little harder to get up for it, certainly. And then sometimes by the end of a long run, like you've been playing so much that like we played about 90 to 100 shows last year, and by the end I'm like, man, I used to think the shows at the beginning of this tour were good. They suck compared to how good we sound now, or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, that's awesome. And then,
As long as we're getting better, gradually,
Well,
not
and
getting
yeah,
worse
and
at the end of the tour, it's probably a good thing.
yeah, and having a good time doing it too, right? Like clearly you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't enjoy it. But man, I wish I could be as talented as you. Like for real, dude.
I think talent is. Here's how I like to break it down. we've obviously got a very lucky break in the Sheepdogs, being on the cover of Rolling Stone in 2011, and then we kind of made the most of that opportunity. I think that was probably a mix of talent and hard luck, but I think most success in the music biz, I see it as like the most important thing is good luck and then hard work and then talent down here. There's so many talented musicians out there that you know um,
Yeah, that
aren't
are
lucky enough
maybe
to have
missing
a
the
sustained,
luck, or
missing
yeah.
some luck, or they're
Yep.
super talented but just can't get themselves organized. And I definitely recognize that there's many, many, many talented musicians out there that aren't as lucky to have the same kind of career as I do, and I'm pretty thankful for that.
Right.
And then there are also artists that have a career, and you're like, why do you have a
Well, I
career?
didn't want to go there, but yeah,
No,
that's true.
but I'll say it for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some of those too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you do, you said 100 and some shows last year. Are you also still playing the songs that you did in 2011, or is it just
Some of
focused
them,
on
yeah.
the new show
There's
or the new album?
so most of the tour we've been doing, since we last toured, we released an EP and an album.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like almost 20 songs. You can't do, and we probably play about 20 songs in a night, right?
Yep.
Not even most nights. So you can't just have all new stuff. People aren't
Right.
going to love that.
Right.
So and there's a collection of songs that we basically have to play every night. Feeling Good, I Don't Know, our two biggest songs. Some other fan favorites, other songs that were lucky enough to be on for us to be on the radio. So this I would say there's probably about 8 to 10 songs that we kind of feel like we got to play every night or just about every night. And
Right.
lucky for me, I like playing those songs still. To me, they're not boring. I like our music, so I enjoy playing it. And when you're playing, you can always, I don't know, do something a little different or
Right.
play it with a little better time or feel. You can
Right.
always. To me,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it really doesn't get. I
Yeah.
don't. The boredom is never a problem for me on stage.
Oh,
Personally.
that was going to be my next question. Like, are you getting sick of those songs? But I guess that answers that question.
Do you ever?
No, even
Sorry.
no. I was gonna say even my least favorite song that we play is still really fun to play for me. So.
Okay.
And I will not mention what song.
I was
No,
just I was definitely gonna ask.
No,
You can tell me after though, right?
The way he said it, I was like, oh, he's not going to say it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite Sheepdog song?
Yeah.
My standard one is our album Learn and Burn, which is our real kind of like, that's the album where we really became the band we were meant to be, as Ewan likes to say. That's a very special album for us. It kind of was our first successful album as well. Starts off with a 2-song medley. That's The One You Belong To and Please Don't Leave Me On. And that would be my favorite. If you count those two as one, I'll call that my favorite Sheepdog song.
Cool.
Heck yeah, dude.
Cool.
I was gonna ask if being the musicians that Mark and I are acquainted with and we get to see a lot. I see a lot of musicians in bands that are in like multiple bands, right? And they got like 3 or 4 gigs going on at the same time. I'm curious for somebody like you, who's like we're not denying how like well known the Sheepdogs are. Does that do you do that too? Like, are you also like clearly you've got your solo album here that we're talking about and promoting, but I mean like. Do you play drums for? Well, I guess you said 5 of them already, didn't you? Or you produce those?
No. Well, I produced Ellen Fraser's last album, and I have played a show with her. And I played drums on that record. I played with this other artist, Tara Lightfoot, from Ontario.
Oh, she's awesome. She,
yeah.
I'm gonna, she popped my cherry.
Record here.
I'm gonna keep saying that, and we had posted about that too. When I say popped my cherry, what I mean is how I wasn't familiar with who she was, and I made it a point not to look her up before I saw her show.
Oh, cool.
So that's what I mean. I know it sounds bad, but that's why I'm saying it.
No,
but that's what I mean. It was like she totally popped my cherry. I went in there, going in there unknowingly, and
was
I
also
had
at
a
the Capitol.
freaking awesome time that night and got to meet her. So that was
Yeah,
great.
she's amazing. Yeah, she's great. Love her songs. I've been lucky. I don't play with her very often, but I've been lucky enough to play with her a couple times.
Heck yeah.
And really enjoy that. Definitely have to make the Sheepdogs my main thing, my main priority.
For sure.
You know, and when we were starting off, like we all were really kind of focused on the Sheepdogs. We didn't really have a lot of any other bands that we were in. I think that was probably a good thing for us at the time. But now, Ewan has a solo album. Seamus just put out a solo album as well. They both have Bros together.
Mhm.
Our new guitarist Ricky, he has a solo career too before being in the Sheepdogs. And I think that like maybe 20 years ago that might have been seen as like, oh my god, these guys hate each other, they can't stand each other, and they're going to break up because they have to make albums apart from each other because they can't stand to be in the same room together. But I think now it's kind of seen as, or like acknowledged that like there's just so much content coming out and you can't do it all in just one band.
Right. Right.
And if people have this music they want to write and record, they should have an outlet to put it out. And it's kind of seen as a positive for the band. It's like, hey, they're not just a bunch of like dumb rockers, they have
they're businessmen.
They contain multitudes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, business.
And business.
I mean,
well, it
I'm not
is
going to
though.
say these solo projects are super profitable, but
no, but you have
they
to.
have-
I'm sure there's like a business approach to it. Like there's needs to be structure and planning, and
Totally.
a timeline,
Yeah,
all that
big
kind
time.
of stuff.
Yeah, but it's not like Oasis, where.
No,
What do you
I
mean?
don't think so.
I don't get it. What do you mean?
No,
Like Liam and Noel have
Liam
to
and
put out
Noel.
solo records because they can't stand each other.
Right.
Yeah, if they usually create a record, and then right after it's done, they hate each other, and then they go their separate ways for about 5 years,
Yeah.
and then they get
and
back
then
together.
they bring
again.
it back again.
Yeah, and they're brothers, so it's not
Yeah.
like.
So it makes sense then.
Yeah.
I could totally see me and my brother doing. We do shit like that. So I get it.
I'm trying to figure out that balloon behind you.
Is that a birthday balloon?
Oh, is it in the shot or?
Yeah.
It's in the mirror.
Oh, there's a mirror.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, it's in there. I don't remember where this is from.
Oh, that's the
From my
best.
girls, so.
You should
Yeah,
pop.
it's just kind
you
of
should,
float. It's
pop a hole in it.
helium, right?
Yeah,
And so it just kind of floated into my area. So I was just kind of
that's awesome.
playing with it a little bit.
You should take a suck of that helium there and get that voice all high pitchy.
I can't. I gotta save it for the girls. They love
Yeah,
it too much.
no
They're
doubt. That's
pissed if
awesome.
Yeah. I want to know who designed the album cover.
So that's Matt Dunlap. He's done the last 4 or 5, maybe even 6 Sheepdogs records. Yeah, he's a good buddy of ours. He's a Canadian from the East Coast who lives in LA, and I knew I wanted to get him, and he did a great job.
What else does he do? Because his name sounds really familiar.
He has done some Terra records for sure. He's done a bunch of stuff. A bunch of what's his name? Joel Plaskett stuff. So, yeah, he does a bunch of stuff.
Okay, maybe that's where I know him from. Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
Oh, I think my question now was about I saw your record review. Was that last week or whatever? One of the reels
Oh yeah.
that you had done.
Oh yeah. Okay,
20-second reviews. That actually inspired me to do my TikTok rapid record review type thing. I cannot
Nice.
get it in 20 seconds.
You should say that inspired by Sheepdogs.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna do another one because that video didn't do
because
very
they
well.
do such a good job of it. Now you're just copying them, right?
Well, I mean, they do a way better job because they probably have a lot more views than my video.
Right? Have you
Well,
guys?
I just copied Ewan, so yeah.
Right? Has he been doing that for like a long time? Or all of you guys?
He's done
or?
a few sessions. He's done a few sessions for sure. Seamus did one when his album came out, so I thought, hey, I might give it a go as well.
Hell yeah! So how many? And I don't recall any of the questions we asked you the last time you were on. So, how big is your vinyl collection?
I have about 800 records, something around that, maybe just under. I think I do have another thing I did while I was doing my treatment is I completely organized my records alphabetically and logged them all in Discogs. So I have I can tell you the exact number right on my phone right here.
Hell yeah.
So that was a good kind of
800.
rainy day thing to do.
And then
You know,
Discogs also gives you an average value of your collection, which is
that's
always
right.
scary.
So I could tell you that
Which is
too.
very scary.
So collection. Where is it here? My Discogs. 784.
Okay.
Estimated value collection. Low end 5,000. Middle 11,000. High end 27,000. So I don't think it's worth that much because sometimes I didn't necessarily put in the correct, pressing or whatever. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
it might be worth, maybe 10,000.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
I mean, vinyls are definitely expensive these days, which
Yeah.
is a good and bad thing, I guess.
Would you?
I'll pull out sometimes my old records that are, and they'll have like a sticker on them that says $2, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this would be like $25 now.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. We have a bunch of like when we're cataloging to go on the website, and sometimes there are price stickers on there. It's like buy two for $6.99. It's like, oh yeah, this one is going on the site for $10 now.
Yeah.
Just this one.
How many records do you guys have?
My personal collection.
No, well,
Mine is about. I don't know. I didn't catalog them. It's about a 200 maybe, but I'm
nice.
around records all day. So if I want to
Sure.
play something, I just get it from the used record.
how many would you think, if you had to guess, were like all these ones over here? How many would you guess?
Each bin holds about 500 to 600 records. There are 6 there, and then the uncatalogued ones. So whatever math that is.
Like 5,000?
Okay.
Yeah, give or take.
Holy smokes!
Nice.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've got
I gotta come out and pierce through some of those bins.
dude, you
What
should.
what do you have there? Yeah.
You definitely
And
should.
you're saying how many you got?
Yeah, I've only got like 12, but it's like from shows that I go to, right? I don't think I've ever bought one in the store before.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The last one I got was the Green Wing album. I think was the last one I got still.
Yep.
That just came out as well. Some more Saskatoon boys. Saskatoon's like jumping, pumping with music. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy good, I think.
It's a good town to be in for music, I think.
Absolutely.
Man, it's been a hot minute since I saw the Sheepdogs. Last time I saw you guys, I want to say it was at the Coors Event Center. Kim Coates was there, and there were some motorcycles being raffled off and stuff. That was the last time I got to see you guys.
I saw you last time I saw you was that Red Bull truck.
Mm-hmm.
What's
an awesome show.
What's the scoop?
And Red Bull told us that was the best one of those shows.
Oh yeah,
across Canada. So
hell yeah, yeah. I bet they say that to all the
the
kids.
I can say the year after that, I believe we saw Monster Truck.
So they were the year
truck,
on that same truck,
right?
And there were a lot more people at the Sheepdog show than at
the Monster Truck one.
Yep.
What's the word or talk of Sheepdogs playing again in Saskatoon?
We had nothing on the books right now, but so I don't know what it'll be next time. But
do you have
I don't know even
a favorite venue? Fucking Sheepdogs at the Cat.
In Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. I like a lot of venues. I liked playing Lydia's when I was around. I like playing Amigos. I like playing Louis. Yeah. I guess those are back in the olden days for us. But
Louis, I don't think I've ever. Did we ever go to a show at Louis?
I've been at Louis.
I don't think I've been there.
I don't remember what for, but I was there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Right on. Any hard hitting questions?
No, I never have any.
Man, I'm very, very excited to see the performance at the Capitol. That's going to be a great night. Yeah, man. And I'm like I said earlier, my apologies for
for barging in on you.
for barging in the studio that one night a
Oh,
few
no
years
worries at
ago.
all.
Oh
Man,
man,
I finally know who that was.
that was
Yeah.
it was totally me. I've been so embarrassed about it since it happened, man, and I've talked about it on here a couple times.
All
You
right,
don't have to worry about it at all.
so
for me.
where do you want us to direct people to get your record?
Yeah.
So it's for sale on Bandcamp. So it's Bandcamp. If you search Bandcamp and Nutana, or you can go to my website is nutanaband.com. That'll have a link to the Bandcamp where you can buy the record. You can have it has a link to all my streaming videos, all that kind of jazz. So yeah,
Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And know the door's always open. You are more than welcome here anytime you want to, man. I'd love to hang out with you in person as well.
Well, come to that show and we'll make that happen.
Shit, yeah,
Sweet.
dude. Rock and roll. I love it, man. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
I'm psyched to see you guys there.
Yep.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Big time.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
We'll
thanks
talk
for
to you guys
coming.
again.
Yes. Can I throw in like a bonus question here?
Yeah.
We never asked about how he came up with the name Nutana.
Is that where you live?
Well, I lived there for most of my life.
Oh.
I'm born in Saskatoon, lived here for my whole life, and I mostly lived in Nutana. Now I live in Caswell Hill, which I didn't think was as snappy a name. I always knew I wanted to use a pseudonym for this project. Just because, I don't know, I remember reading this thing where Dallas Green's, who's in City in Color, or is City in Color, saying he just didn't want to see his name on a t-shirt, so he picked a pseudonym. I can kind of get down with that sentiment. So I knew I wanted a pseudonym, and I just thought that I liked the way Nutana sounded. I liked the way it looked written down. I just thought it was a cool word, and it's kind of interesting because it's a neighborhood in Saskatoon. Everybody knows what it is, but outside of Saskatoon, nobody's ever heard of it. So I thought maybe it had a little bit of allure, or, mystery.
Heck
So,
yeah. I remember being a student at Nutana Collegiate at back in, when was that, 2000? It was because I was just a dum-dum, so I didn't pass everything, and I had to go do some upgrading. That's why I had to do that.
Well,
but it worked.
A member of the Sheepdogs also attended Nutana. So
heck yeah, right on.
Was
I love
me? You'll never know.
Maybe, yeah. What class were you taking?
Yeah.
I took what the hell did I take there? Science 30 and Algebra 20A or something.
Well, it wasn't
like
Sam, so it was one of the other members.
Or was it?
Or was it?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We'll leave it at that. All right. Thanks again.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you guys for tuning in this week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.